Dr. Carrington's office was tucked away on the third floor of the English department building at Ashford University, a Gothic structure that loomed ominously against the evening sky. The discovery of his death came after he failed to attend a scheduled departmental meeting. When the head of the department, Professor Monica Lawrence, went to check on him, she found the door locked. She knocked, then forced the door open when there was no response. What she saw inside made her gasp. Julian was slumped forward, his glasses askew, his hands still clutching a half-finished manuscript, his blood staining the papers. His neck was twisted at an unnatural angle, and a deep gash ran across his throat, making it clear this was no accident. It was a calculated, brutal killing. Detective Sarah Rivers was called to the scene. A seasoned investigator, she had seen her fair share of crimes, but something about this one gnawed at her. The campus was full of rumors and suspicions about Julian's character, but murder? That was something different. Her first instinct was to follow the obvious leads. The most immediate question was, who hated Julian enough to kill him? His behavior had alienated many on campus. He was known for his cruel remarks toward students, his incessant belittling of colleagues, and his toxic competitiveness. He had a reputation for preying on vulnerable students, using his position of power to intimidate and manipulate. But was there a student or colleague who was driven to kill? Sarah's first stop was the English department. The staff were understandably rattled, but it didn't take long before Sarah started to pick up on subtle tension among them. Professor Lawrence, the department head, seemed particularly shaken, almost guilty. Julian had been her mentor, but their relationship had soured over the years. Rumors had it that he had been having an affair with a younger lecturer, Dr. Evelyn Peters, but the affair had ended abruptly. Sarah also learned that Julian's recent behavior had become more erratic. Some speculated he was battling a personal crisis. He had been working late into the night, obsessively rewriting papers, and his mood had turned darker. But none of this provided a clear motive for murder. 3 people stood out as potential suspects. Dr. Evelyn Peters, the young and ambitious lecturer who had once been Julian's protege. There was speculation about their affair, but Evelyn denied it ever existed. Still, she had recently quit her position at Ashford University, which made her an odd, if not convenient, suspect. Professor Monica Lawrence, the department head. She was well-liked, but her relationship with Julian was complicated. She had confided in colleagues about how Julian had attempted to sabotage her career in the past. Did she have enough of his cruelty to want revenge? Andrew Miller, a disgruntled former student who had been particularly vocal about Julian's treatment of him during his thesis defense. Julian had ridiculed Andrew's work, humiliated him in front of the department, and indirectly caused him to fail his final exam. Andrew had been quietly seething ever since, and a part of him had blamed Julian for his professional failure. He left the university, and there were signs that she had been close to a breakdown following Julian's dismissal of her work. But as Sarah dug deeper, the picture started to shift. Professor Lawrence, under subtle questioning, confessed to having had a heated argument with Julian 2 days before his death. Julian had called her career into question again, mocking her teaching methods and accusing her of being an ineffectual leader. But Monica was adamant that she didn't kill him. She claimed that her anger was nothing more than a temporary flare-up. Her alibi was solid, and there was no evidence to suggest she had taken any violent action. Andrew Miller, on the other hand, was an enigma. His hatred for Julian was palpable. Sarah found a journal in Andrew's dorm room, a dark account of his feelings toward Julian. It was filled with raw anger, but there was no indication that Andrew intended to kill him. However, as the investigation continued, Sarah uncovered a disturbing detail. Andrew had been stalking Julian for weeks, showing up unannounced at his office hours, and even sending anonymous letters detailing his failures. But the breakthrough came when Sarah discovered a hidden set of emails on Julian's computer. They were messages exchanged between Julian and a mysterious figure, someone he had blackmailed over the years. The emails detailed financial transactions and threats, with Julian using his power to extort money from someone with a deep connection to the university's administration. The true shock came when Sarah traced the IP addresses to Professor Lawrence's office. When confronted with the evidence, Monica Lawrence's composure finally cracked. She admitted to a long-standing affair with Julian, one that had begun when she was a young, naive lecturer. She had always looked up to him, until he began using his influence over her to manipulate her career and take advantage of her. But it wasn't the affair that drove her to murder. It was the years of degradation and the realization that Julian had been secretly sabotaging her work to maintain control over her. The final straw had come when he had threatened to expose their past and ruin her reputation in the academic world if she didn't comply with his demands. He had done the same to others before, blackmailing colleagues and students alike, but Monica was too ashamed to fight back. On the night of the murder, Monica had confronted Julian one last time. He had laughed in her face, calling her weak, and dismissed her plea to stop his manipulations. In a moment of fury, she had grabbed a letter opener from his desk and slit his throat. Julian never had the chance to fight back. Monica was arrested and charged with murder. The university, rocked by the scandal, conducted an internal investigation, which revealed the depths of Julian's abusive behavior. The revelations were damning, both to his character and to the university's complicity in enabling his actions for years. Detective Sarah Rivers, though satisfied with the case's resolution, couldn't shake the haunting feeling that Ashford University had played a role in the tragedy. The institution had allowed a toxic environment to fester, enabling Julian's predatory behavior to go unchecked. And as for the students and staff left in the wake of the murder, they too would forever carry the scars of the man who had once been their professor. His name would linger in whispers across campus, a grim reminder of the cost of silence.